within Stella kind of supports that theory. As does the fact that so far everyone we've met has turned out to be a friend or relative of Stella's once they've boarded the ship. But I don't know for sure. This is just my personal guess. And before everything you said turns out to be correct, yeah. I'm usually pretty good with these kind of things, but, you know, not every game goes the direction I expect it to. Really good games and movies often intentionally subvert your expectations. Workers unite! You're done being paid unfair wages. You are done being exploited by the benefits of the upper class. Say no to capitalist abuse. Rally to our cause at Bottom Line Corp. Union for Working Denizens. Spirits of the Afterlife are unionizing. Dear customer, due to an unforeseen supply shortage at our Bottom Line Corp depot, Raccoon Inc. will no longer be able to apply our special rebate program for recurring customers. Please know that it is with great regret that we inform you of this situation. Rest assured, valued customer, of our continuous efforts to improve it. Raccoon Inc. Trade is our family name. I seem to be getting a lot of junk mail now that I got this mailbox. So happy that I purchased this. Well, that, I suppose, would technically be an example of subverting an expectation, but probably not a good example, because that's the sort of thing, like when everything turns out to be a dream or something like that, tends to be considered a very cheap way to go about it, that usually leaves audiences feeling unsatisfied, because it's kind of a weak twist and plot device. But as it turns out, the first 3 hours I spent playing this game only got me about 4% completion, so this may be a much longer game than I initially believed. You know what? Fine, I'll buy it. I'll find out what's in that door. Because I know there's treasure in there. Another ceramic figurine? Okay. Unlock the door downstairs? Now anyone can come up here. I don't want these downstairs jerks up here. Yes, young person. Assume you are busy. Wait a second. Clearly don't have the money for this. Come back when you have 5,000 glims. Okay. Whatever it is, it's a spendy proposition. I've recruited a sheep. Not really sure if I had to wait for it to catch up to me or not. Now it is on board the boat. Wreaking havoc. Oh, I have enough to build the foundry. Probably do that. Oh wow, it's huge. Okay, definitely going to need to rearrange some stuff to make this thing fit. Why do all these buildings, that kind of remind me of Codename Kids Next Door? It's probably all the ladders. It really gives it that treehouse effect. I had to guess. I strongly suspect I'm about to see some improvements made to this thing. Oh yeah, Codename Kids Next Door was maybe not one of my favorite shows, but I really love the concept behind it. A berry. Not just that, but the imagination behind it. And the fact that the kids, when they grew old enough, graduated out of the program and were kind of like Men in Black zappied, so that they wouldn't remember their time as agents. Well, I guess I ought to set a course for somewhere. For the cozy body. Iron ingots. Okay. So maybe I'll start heading back there. Watering my cat. I didn't know there was a planned continuation of it. That is, unfortunate. Wasn't there a Codename Kids Next Door movie at one point? I thought I remember there being something like that. Oh, apparently I have reached my destination. Oops. Travel. Mount Toriyama. Operation Zero, it's pretty good. Oh, I'll keep that in mind. I wonder if it's on, like HBO Max or something, since they picked up all those properties, but... You know, they've also been dropping a whole bunch of stuff off inexplicably, which has been confusing a lot of people. I'll take a peek at that when I've got some time. Location. Welcome to my new viewers. Thank you for joining. It's one of those things I used to catch on Cartoon Network occasionally back when it was airing. I couldn't tell you exactly how many episodes of it I caught, but I'm sure I saw at least like 6 or 7 unique episodes, and probably saw, you know, some of those at least multiple times. That was the nature of broadcast. If using more coal maybe makes the kind of strike zone here bigger and makes it easier to stay within it by giving you smaller bumps. But if maybe you can actually use just one piece and still be successful? Yeah, I watched Cartoon Network pretty often. Favorite show? Well, I watched it largely for, like, the Toonami block, and later for a lot of the Adult Swim shows when that came around. But in terms of, like, the actual Cartoon Network kids shows, hard to say. Maybe, like, Dexter's Lab or Courage the Cowardly Dog? Concept-wise, Codename Kids Next Door was probably my favorite, but execution-wise, I definitely laughed more when I was watching Dexter. Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy was also pretty notable. cottage has been built. Aluminum ingot. Definitely don't have what I need for aluminum. If I remember right, aluminum's an alloy that uses tin and something else. Tin and steel? It's a good show? Yeah. It was, always, unique and unexpected in every episode. Quaint place. And the view, well, it can't be beaten, can it? Return the slab or suffer my curse. Yes, this will be perfect. A little promontory up that cliff there. Just go ahead, I'll meet you there. How will I do it? Ah, don't worry, I'll manage to sneak my way up. Yeah, in terms of the other blocks of shows, though, like, I was definitely back in the day a fan of, Dragon Ball Z. Gundam Wing was definitely, a big favorite of mine on, the Toonami block when it was airing. Let's see, what else? And then in Adult Swim, things like Cowboy Bebop, of course. And then, some of the original shows as well, like Aqua Teen Hunger Force, turned out to be really, really fun. And Venture Brothers. You built a house? For me? You shouldn't have, really. But since it's there, well, I guess it'd be rude of me not to move in. Thank you so very much, sweetheart. It's still locked? Still locked. Must need to get the key from them by doing their quest line or something. I've been rewatching it again as background noise. That show is still amazing. Especially if you are someone who, you know, was familiar with a lot of the old, like, Hanna-Barbera, properties that they used to air on Cartoon Network. Like, Johnny Quest and stuff like that, that they reference heavily. Infinity Train. No, I heard that that's one of the ones they just removed off of HBO Max. But I hadn't seen it at all. I had been planning to give Mighty Magiswords a try, but they took that one off too. I'm not sure if that's actually available anywhere right now. Well, in terms of, like, legally available places, at least. But it is a sad day when piracy is the only option to be able to watch something. Nick hug. Like, there really is something very tragic about the concept that certain media may be completely lost to time if not for piracy. Because, you know, the creators and owners of the property opted to manage it in such a way that they never released, you know, permanent physical copies that were legally available, and never, you know, made it available outside of their streaming platform that they decided to discontinue it on. Yeah. Well, one of the reasons, at least. I haven't lost my touch, have I? I might be old, but I still have a few tricks up my sleeve. And beating younglings in a climbing race has always been a specialty of mine. But enough of this, let's focus on the matter at hand. And yeah, the ROM situation's pretty sad as well, because, as it turns out, some of the games that they preserved with ROMs have only really been available legally because they were preserved with ROMs, which is very, very silly. But enough of this, let's focus on the matter at hand. This lesson, as you might have guessed, will be a little bit special. Up to now, we focused on the proper care of plants and crops. I think it's time to concentrate on proper care of one's mind. Sunlight and music were the tools of the former. Well, for the latter, our tool will be the act of meditating. And that's specifically why I brought you here. See this boulder? It hasn't been consecrated for nothing. Powerful spiritual energies flow through the area. I know, it might seem strange. Occult even. But just humor me. First things first, sit down next to me, just like this. Alright, your turn. Meditation, Stella, is an affair of wholeness. Of wholeness and of oneness. A lot of novices believe, wrongfully, that meditating is the pursuit of an empty mind. The mind is not empty, Stella. It is a beast, savage and untamed. Violent and caring. Loving and destructive. Hateful, curious, scared. A ball of frayed nerves. Much like the dragon, it cannot be controlled. It must be allowed to roam free. My father also lived with this tormented creature. A different kind, perhaps. He chose to fight it. Okay, I have to say that I love that the cat is also meditating and in a little, meditative pose. Tried to muscle it down into submission. Mark it under the auspice of violence. And mostly to silence it. He thought that nothingness was the solution. But the dragon is indomitable. The fight left my father a broken man. Let your mind wander, Stella. Gently, like you would a scared kitten. Let it smell the grass. Let it notice the wind flowing through your hair. The heat radiating from the stone behind you. The rhythmic breaking of the waves below. Let your spirit penetrate all things, not to make them yours, but to make yourself theirs. Be one and be whole. But keep being. My poor kitty can't keep up. Seems like my lesson had quite the influence. We were up there for hours. I just had to stretch my legs at some point. The snake had to stretch their legs. Oh, what are you saying? A vision? Of course. We're the Spiritfarer, after all. The mystical energies of this world are bound to affect you in mysterious ways. I'm sure there are other such areas of power. If you find them, be sure to take the time to meditate. Perhaps more visions will rain down upon your mind. You know, Stella, while you were up there, I tried to do some thinking. I wanted to prepare for our next lesson. There's still so much to teach. But I couldn't think. My mind was uneasy. For you see, I too have had a vision. A gift from the universe. It's the dragon, Stella. I felt him creeping slowly towards me. I thought that I had some grand purpose to accomplish before he would swallow me whole. But now I realize that the dragon hasn't crept much at all. He has kept up with me for quite a while now, and ignoring it won't do me any good. Well, let's go, shall we? Oh, back so soon? I'm always happy to see you, sweetheart. But don't let me hold you back from your adventures. Posture check. I actually just fixed my posture. Thank you. Was sitting in my characteristic pretzel position prior to that. Little one? What is this? Oh, a little ceremony? Alright, I'll try to do my best. Oh, a hedgehog. I thought they were, from their outline, that they were going to be a wolf. Oh, that's adorable. Oh, this is really pleasant. Soft as a waffle and warm as a pie. Hedgehog pie? I feel young again. Thank you so much for having found me, young one. Don't worry about me now. I'll find my way around. Bugs. That was free. Had prepared the garden for Rose. Wanted to give her a nook of paradise. A home filled with so much love she would be overwhelmed by it. Was wrong. Incredibly so. Came to live with me, the garden's yield grew tenfold. It was a sight to behold. She had never had any formal training, yet she could always tell which branch was sick and required cutting, or which plant needed fertilizer. What crop was about to bloom? I've seen her wake up in the middle of the night to cover some delicate flower. Next morning, surprise frost would have hit the region. He didn't need knowledge. He needed my crude tools. Chakras, gems, chants. No, she was an open gateway to the universe. An ethereal force. When the dragon came for its final visit, I was not scared anymore. As for what that looks like, imagine it has a lot to do with legs up on the chair in places, in positions that they shouldn't be in. How about a little snack, Stella? I'm feeling quite hungry. Oh, thank you. Quite hungry. Would you look at that, Stella? This little sheep wanted to come with us. I guess it didn't like its companion very much after all. Don't worry, we'll take good care of you. But first, all this wool, it looks quite uncomfortable, doesn't it? And, oh no, we're on a boat. It's like that story with a flock of sheep that fell off a boat. Oh, we can't have that. Go ahead, Scylla. Shear the wool right off its back. It's for the best. The sheep looks incredibly worried. Very concerned sheep. Oh my gosh. The hedgehog walks around on all fours. I know there's another sheep wandering around too. Pick it off too. There it is. Oh, aren't you feeling better? And it's much safer too. And that key, I thought I'd lost it. But it was stuck in your thick coat all this time. What a treat. As for you, Stella, I know you'll find a good use for all this extra wool. It's one of my favorite materials. Used exclusively for all my blankets. My husband, of course, always thought they were scratchy. He was such a grump. Anyway, the sheep's wool will grow back very quickly, but only if it is well fed. And this one seems to have quite a large appetite. Suggest you diligently feed him, otherwise he might get into your garden and destroy your crops. Well, I imagine building a sheep corral would help keep him in place. Should probably do that as soon as possible. For the good of the sheep and that of your crops. The other one go.